We're, of course, continuing to follow that story out of Mexico. 4 Americans kidnapped and forced into the back of that white pickup truck after being shot at in a possible case of mistaken identity. The 4 reportedly crossing the border for a medical procedure in that area. This happened just 3 blocks from the U.S.-Mexico border.
It's very scary. Joining us now for more is Charles Marino, who's a Newsmax contributor, along with TW Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen. So White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday with her statement regarding the 4 kidnapped in Mexico. Take a listen.
We stand ready to provide all appropriate consular assistance. U.S. law enforcement is in touch with Mexican law enforcement. The Departments of State and Homeland Security are also coordinating with Mexican authorities, and we will continue to coordinate with Mexico and push them to bring those responsible to justice.
All right, Charles, she's talking about coordination, but you were formerly the Homeland Security Department advisor. What does this all mean, and what do you think is being done right now?
Well, I can tell you that the coordination, Allison, in these types of situations between the United States and Mexico is not always fluid. Mexico and the United States have a very strained relationship here. We're the big brother that Mexico does not like. And as a result, that trickles down to our intelligence and law enforcement operations. And they certainly don't want the United States dictating to them what needs to be done with the cartels. Look, Mexico has turned into a failed state with an ineffective government plagued by corruption and fear. And this is in large part because the Biden administration has empowered the cartels like never before, both financially and operationally. So they need to be treated differently. They're no longer just criminal organizations. We need to go after them like they're terrorist organizations.
Yeah, and this has gotten worse under Joe Biden. The FBI right now, TW, offering a $50,000 reward. The president, just for political reasons alone, better hope that these 4 Americans get home safely and fast. The longer this goes on, the worse the worse that looks for these Americans right now. So we keep hearing, TW, this might be a case of mistaken identity. If that's the case, why haven't they been returned? And why haven't we heard anything from the cartels about a possible ransom?
Yeah, 3 words, Rob: build the wall. I mean, listen, the problems in Mexico are rampant. They've got thugs not just at the border, but within the deepest parts of their government. And that's a reason, as was mentioned, it is a failed state. But listen, we have those ideas that are coming across our border right now. And so, yeah, we've got to do everything we can to keep Americans safe. We've got to do everything we can to protect our homeland. And that starts with building the wall. But unfortunately, we've seen the devastation, the corruption. We've seen the fentanyl overdoses increase. It's all a result of the failed policies of Joe Biden. Oh, by the way, this is the president who tells us everything's under control at the border. He told us just a few months ago that things are great. We've got it under control. Things are safer than they've ever been. Nothing to worry about, nothing to see here, folks. He appointed Kamala Harris, who's directly responsible for the lives of these Americans. Listen, she is the border czar. What happens at the border happens on her watch. She's responsible. We don't have a coordinated plan. In fact, what we have is once again, an administration that won't level with the American people about the seriousness of the border or the seriousness of these Americans who've been captured. There's a lot of commerce that happens between these 2 countries, but we've got to do all that we can to build the wall, to secure our border. And that starts with the president, who actually takes border security seriously. This is a matter of national security.
Yeah, absolutely. Charles, I want to now move to the 23 charged with domestic terrorism following a protest at a soon-to-be Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. Although the press secretary yesterday was unaware of this event. Listen.
Dozens of people were arrested protesting the so-called cop city. Is the president aware of this? And is the White House worried about this escalating?
Wait, say that again. What was the protest? I've not heard any discussions about this protest over the weekend, so we'd have to go back to the team and see where we are, where we're standing, and a response on that.
Charles, maybe she didn't go on social media or watch the news yesterday because many news outlets were talking about this. How concerning is this?
Very. There was a lot missed here, apparently. You know, the fact that this was a police training center, yesterday, this could be critical infrastructure tomorrow. This could be another sensitive target. And with 23 people involved, there were 3 things that were needed, and that was money, coordination, and logistics. So how, amongst all of this chatter that was required throughout the communications to achieve all those 3 things, how was this missed by law enforcement? How were we not up on this in the couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, that it took to plan all of this with Antifa, especially when you bring in the international dynamic to this? So there was a lot missed here, but the fact that the president did not know about this and that Jean-Pierre did not know about this is not surprising, unfortunately. But it can result in a lot more dangerous situations.
Let's hold it there. We'll pick this back up in just a couple minutes, top of the hour. I do want to get back into this. You're right. This was on every single network throughout the entirety of the weekend, certainly on Sunday. What is Karine Jean-Pierre doing? But that's what we're used to, not getting a lot of information from those briefings. Charles Marino, thank you. TW Shannon, we'll see you in just a little bit. A lot more coming up on Wake Up America this morning. President Biden unveiling his budget this week. What that means for the fight over the debt ceiling, we'll have more on that coming up. Stay close.